um, to the soulful connection for sure. But this week we're talking about accepting who we are and where we're at in our life. And I think that's a subject that I had the pleasure this morning of chatting with John, who's in the strip right now, and had a great conversation with him. And we were talking a little bit about that and how accepting who we are and where we're at in our life is not always easy, because we think that accepting ourselves forces us to accept things that we have to have fun, and it has to be easy, and it has to be uh, um, just cute and warm and fuzzy, basically. And that's not the kind of acceptance I'm talking about. Accepting ourselves is accepting ourselves when it's not warm and fuzzy. I'll give you an example that happened last week. I have teenage daughters, twins, and like all teenagers, they argue, and they argue a lot. And last week I was having a very filled week, and I was tired. There was a lot to deal with, and I was not in the mood to put up with my daughters arguing, and I kind of lost it. And accepting myself means that I gotta accept that those parts of me are gonna show up once in a while, and they are part of who I am. They used to be a huge part of who I am, but now that I've learned that I've grown and evolved and learned from where I've been, I can accept that they don't happen often, but when they do, I don't go into the judgment. I don't go into the guilt. I don't go into the shame that comes from just kind of having lost it on my daughters. And that's the part of acceptance that we need to allow ourselves to live in. Because accepting ourselves when it's all nice, cute, and warm and fuzzy, that's all nice and that's very easy. But accepting ourselves when it's not the pretty side of who we are, that's a sign of growth. That's and that's where our conversation with John was leading us this morning, is like, when you recognize something, you can do something with it. You see that part of who you are, you identify it, and from there, it's much easier to make something from it, to stop doing and start being, and being in the moment and saying, you know what, this is who I am at that moment. And that doesn't make me into that whole, I'm not some psychotic woman like that blows her handle all the time. It's just in that moment that happened, and I kind of lost it. And that's part of accepting who we are, is knowing that there's some places in our lives where we're gonna show up, and it's not gonna be pretty, and it's gonna be asking us to really, really uh, trust that we're okay in who we are. And it's quite a journey to accepting ourselves in that way. And from there, I'll give you an example of in nature. If there's a hawk, we all know hawks are amazing hunters, and they have a great vision, but they miss their prey once in a while. And they don't go into the guilt, they don't go into the shame, they don't go into the judgment of it. They just kind of accept that it's like, oh, okay, so I missed my prey. I just missed it. It outran me. We don't care what happened, but it missed its prey. And then it can step up and accept that it's like, okay, so what am I going to do about it? Hey, Tim. Hey, Cynthia. How are you? It's nice to see you. So I'm talking about acceptance right now, and I'm using the hawk as an example, and to say that sometimes the hawk does miss its prey, and it doesn't get into the judgment part of it, the guilt part of it, and the shame of it. We got to learn to accept that there are some times where we might be really, really good at something, but once in a while we miss because something else happened that took us off course, or a situation was beyond our own capacity. And accepting that we're all gonna come up against things that show up in our lives that make us grow. And that's when we learn to accept ourselves. We see that part of ourselves, we accept it, and from there we can learn from it and contribute in a way to our lives of accepting ourselves, so that we can accept who I am and where I am in my life. Because last week when I kind of blew it on my daughters, I know that where I was, that's all I could do. I took a deep breath, I walked away, and I said, before it escalates, because the previous me, the one from 10, 20 years ago, would have just blown a gasket, literally, and it would not have been pretty. But now I know that about me. So now because I recognize it and I accept it, I can see it. And when it happens, I can tone it down so it doesn't become this monstrous part of who I am. And it's okay. It doesn't mean that I like it. It doesn't mean that I'm all warm and fuzzy about it. It just means that it happens. I'm human. I have those moments where it's too much. I just blow it, and it's not. We're all human. We're all human. So learning to accept that we are who we are and where we are in our lives, because we all come from a background. We all come from a place that has seen different things, and some things will trigger us and bring us back into those painful parts of who we are, and it just happens. Is that Lisa as well? Oh my God, Lisa! Laura, how are you? Cool. And it's like my beautiful Cynthia. Hey, Cynthia.
Hi there. Just wanted to stop in and support this amazing subject that you're doing, Nicole. You've said like so much in the short period of time. I was listening in while I was eating my egg sandwich, and I was like, gosh, I got to jump on because after I finished my last bite, because you know, you have gone through such a journey in your own life. I mean, we're all on a journey, but I'm so proud of you because you're the perfect person for people to, you know, for you to spread the message, because you've gone through that journey of finding yourself. And I've been fortunate as your friend, which I'm honored to be, to see how much that you have fully come into your own now and really have, you know, you're very soulful. Like you were awesome before, but now when I talk to you, you just have that comfort level, that ease and that excitement because you truly know who you are now. So I wanted to start with that. I think it's so exciting for you. And it's exciting for me to see someone so in touch with themselves.
Thank you. Thank you. And it is a journey. And it's been a journey. You've been witness to it for what, 4 or 5 years now.
Yes.
And there's 50 years of it. and that's what I mean. And it was a journey to accepting myself. And it's now I'm at a place in my life where I'm okay with who I am, and I stop. When I see it, when I don't see it and I go into, I'll call it a tailspin, but if we all have those moments where life happens and it sends us off, it sends us into a tailspin. But when I see it, I recognize it now and I accept that about me. And I just, and by recognizing it and accepting it, then I can tone it down, take a breather, and I was able, like I know I never put my daughters to bed without saying goodnight and telling them I love them. And I was mad at my daughter, especially one. By allowing myself to accept that, it's like, you know what? I gotta respect myself in this process. I'm still angry at her. I'm still like, I wasn't impressed with the whole situation, but I was able to go and see her and say, you know what? We're gonna talk about it later on, but I need to kiss you goodnight and tell you that I love you, regardless of the situation, that's because I've accepted myself. I can look beyond the situation that has happened and know that we'll come back to this situation because it is a priority and it needs to be dealt with. But I need to accept that I need to honor myself as a mother as well, and recognize that I need to do this for myself and to show my daughter that it doesn't matter whether we argue or whatever. I'm still her mother and I still love her dearly. And I think that's part of the process, and I think that's what you've witnessed. You've seen me through like I think you were even there when my dad passed away, and like there's been so much going on with everything, and accepting ourselves when we're going through stuff is I think that's a sign that we're in a place where we can finally own who we are, and know that, yeah, we all have parts of ourselves that are not pretty, that are not glamorous, that are not.
You speak different words, but it's the same sort of alignment to what I do. But I love that you say, about a journey into your soul, because, what you're saying and what I got out of what you're saying and how it resonates with my life too, is that you really do need to take a journey into your soul. If you want to be happy, if you want to be successful, you really need to figure out who you really are. And I know so many people that I work with, and you have worked with, Nicole, and that sort of thing, is that it's all a journey. And like you say, sometimes we get derailed. Maybe it's through divorce, maybe it's through kids going off to college, maybe it's just through age and wisdom. I'll say wisdom. We change as individuals a little bit, and we kind of figure out, we're all trying to figure out our own life and that sort of thing. But when you take that journey towards your soul, there's a couple things that happen. Again, from my perspective, is that, you stop doing things in work that, you're expected to do, or you're focusing in on your business on things that people tell you would be great at. And you really throw those aside and you start really doing what you want to do. You figure out your weaknesses, which I think is really important for all of us. We've all got weaknesses, things that, we're not good at. And so we can choose to either build on them or say, you know what, it's a weakness. I don't want to have anything to do with it. And maybe I'll delegate that stuff. And like you also said too, is that there is conflict. There's conflict sometimes in our partnerships. There's conflict sometimes in how we do business. And when you are true to your soul, like you say, when you derail, you recognize it, going, you know what? Okay, I'm going off the deep end here, but that's not who I really am or who I want to be. So you know how to bring yourself back.
Yeah.
So
but you have to see it. You have to see it before you can even go, like you say. And I love what you're saying, because if you don't even allow yourself to recognize, and that's where it's so important, that to know ourselves, and to know that we all have places and spots that will send us on the deep end, like I call it, and
we all have it happen.
Well, yeah, exactly. And it's like, of course I'm not going to blow a gasket on air.
Yeah.
But I think we all do. We all have our limits, and it's like, even in nature, there's the tree has a breaking point, and sometimes it loses a branch. Sometimes it's the whole thing that falls over.
Right.
So, and that's where we got to realize that we have parts of ourselves that can take a lot, but we can only take so much. And knowing that part of ourselves and admitting that, you know what, this is too much. And I love you know how I love you about, like, and that's where, if you guys don't know Cynthia Bazin, you need to connect with her. If you need to gain laser focus, this woman has helped me be kept accountable for many years. She's an amazing mentor, and she, like, that's what's so great, because Cynthia's strength is very different than mine, but we're very complementary, and we help each other.
Yeah, we definitely complement one another. And I just, before I head off, I can't stay on too long, Nicole. I just wanted to support this blab and tweet it out a few times for you. Am I echoing or no? It's echoing on my end.
If what?
Is it echoing?
No.
Oh, okay. It's echoing on my end. Just basically, if anybody joins in and is watching the replay, watching this live, is that it's so important, you know, to take the time. And this is a great time of the year as we're kind of finishing off and starting off a fresh new year, is that if you've been doing things that, you know, you're just not happy, you feel kind of stuck, you feel like, you know what, you're not happy in some things, is that really take a journey, you know, like Nicole can help you with, into your soul. Figure out, basically, in my own words, figure out what really makes you happy. Figure out what you really want to do in life. It's so easy to get swayed off and look outward and just get caught up into activities and people that might not really resonate with us. And so, just like Nicole has taken her own journey, believe me, I'm on an ongoing journey, is that, you know what, sometimes I get wrapped up, I say yes to something, and I'm like, gosh, that really doesn't align with what I'm really wanting to do. So I always take a deep dive into my soul. Basically, you know, at least quarterly, I'm taking a look at what I'm doing, and I'm going, am I happy? Am I passionate about it? And of course, too, with business, am I making some money off of it? But it's really important to align with your values and who you are for long-term happiness. So I've got to jump off, Nicole, but I love this topic.
John? Have you ever met John?
I have met John. I've at least seen John on Blabs before. Have you been on one of mine, or?
Yes, ma'am, I have. I wanted to sort of meet you here.
Oh, cool. Well, hi. Yes, I can stay on for another minute or two. Absolutely.
No, I typed it over in the message box. It is just so great to see two people support one another the way you two support one another personally and professionally, because I happened to fall into a blab last week with 3 folks from Sweden who are reputation coaches.
Okay.
And one of the things they were talking about is just how cutthroat online can be, how people are so selfish and everything. And it was just nice to sit back and listen to you, both of you. You can tell you're both very genuine people.
Oh, thank you. You know what?
Yeah.
That's why I love Nicole. And again, we've known each other for a long time. It's so important. And you're a coach too. So definitely, I've just connected with you, John, on here. We can connect on Twitter too. You know what? Listen, this is my whole feeling on things, is that, you know what, the most important thing that I have to do is surround myself with inspiring, positive, supportive people. I always say this in every single social media forum. There's enough business out there for everybody.
Amen.
You're a coach. I'm a coach.
Amen.
Nicole has done mentoring, coaching, you know, also in VIP days. Listen, Nicole's message, her ideal client is different than mine. You have different people than me. Listen, let's all support and inspire one another and not judge one another.
Yeah.
Amen. Thank you.
Amen.
Yeah, exactly.
Continue the conversation with Nicole. I have to jump off, but very nice to talk with you for a few moments.
You too,
Coach
Cynthia.
John. Thank you. Bye, Nicole. Rock on, girl.
Start dropping in.
Nicole, I just wanted to share one thing. After you and I talked this morning, I don't know if you know Christine Bowen or not, but she tweeted something that says, sometimes we are so attached to our way of life that we turn down a wonderful opportunity simply because we don't know what to do with it. And I tweeted back to her, talk about synchronicity. I said, you and I had spent about a half hour talking about just that issue, that when you're not present to the present, how you just miss stuff, even though that I my wife bought some knockout rose bushes at the end of the season. She's one of those gardeners that loves to shop in October because she'll go into a nursery and they'll say, well, we'll sell you these 3 and we'll give you these 4 if you buy these 3. So she's always buying bushes and stuff. And she had to go to work and I had a day off and I said, do you want me to plant these for you? And 2 of them were rose bushes. She said, yeah, but be careful because they're all full of thorns. And that's the way life is to me. You know, it's all full of thorns.
Yes.
But when you sit back and look at a rose bush, how beautiful it is when it blooms, those thorns are still underneath the leaves and everything. So
yeah, and it's so true. And it's like, if we don't recognize that the thorns are there, we can hurt ourselves. But when we accept that they're there and they're part of the beauty, we can move forward with that. So it's definitely, definitely. Ooh, sorry, I missed somebody who's trying. Sam David, if you want to try and get in again, Sam, I'm sorry I didn't click fast enough. But
I'm going to hop out and stay in the peanut gallery. But I just
hop in if you have more to.
I sure will. But I'll give everybody else a chance to get in here.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So we're talking about perfect. So hi, Carla.
Hi, how are you? I don't think we've met before, have we?
We were on a blab. I'm trying to think. Last week we were both on a blab. I think it was on Art Jones' blab, which I think Art's right there.
Yeah, Art's here now. And I'm kind of welcoming people as I was waiting for you. So I hope you don't mind.
No, not at all. And that's why today we're talking about accepting ourselves and who we are and where we are in our lives. So and that's basically the premise for the conversation, and from there we can take it from there.
Well, I sort of need this right now. I know that what I'm doing is what I should be doing. I really don't question that at all. I know my job is to go out and make people laugh and make people happy. However, I'm having some real challenges when it comes to finances. And I'm just wondering the best way to deal with that. And continue to accept myself and continue to know that I'm in the right direction. Does that I don't know if I'm making much sense, because I know what I'm doing is what I should be doing. But at the same time, I also know, well, I need to eat, you know?
Yeah. For the financial part of it, there's amazing coaches right at the top bar there that can help you with that part of it. But I can, just from what you're talking about, Carla, I hear a lot of doing, and how about being? Are you?
I just got what you said completely. Yeah.
And
you're right. I'm trying to do instead of just being who I am and just being at ease with myself.
Yeah. Because look at the example that, like, if the tree and it's like, if the tree is putting all its energy on its leaves, it's putting its energy in the like it, at one point it's gonna fall over, you know. So when we're doing and we're trying to spread who we are over there, we're no longer over here where we should be. And I'm not talking about being in our hearts all the time, because we have to have heart, mind, and like, I mean, it's a whole thing. It's a whole, we're not just a heart. We have to have the mind involved in that. But it's about being, from having heard you talk on the Blab last week, Carla, I think you just need to honor who you are. But I'm sure we have Dave.
You're right.
Dave and Andy, I'm sure, will help you with it even further, because they both have great knowledge to share here.
No, that what you said just resonated. It was perfect for what I needed to hear. Because I think sometimes I know doing isn't going to put me anywhere. And I know that so perfectly. And it's just being comfortable with myself and many years I've been told, no, Carla, do this, do that. And now it's like I'm settling into myself, and that's what I need to be doing.
Yeah. And that's a journey. That's a journey. When we start accepting who we are and owning that part of ourselves, I can tell you, when I started talking in a language that looks and feels like me, it was so much easier. I didn't have the energy drains. I wasn't tired at the end of my day. I was showing up, and it wasn't about, because I often hear, never mind what other people think. And it's like, yeah, well, that's easy to say. How do I live it? And to me, it was all about, you know what? I got to be comfortable with how I show up somewhere. And I've got to be able to say, you know what? When I'm meeting other people or talking with other people, I've got to feel like I'm staying within integrity of who I am. And I know that for a good part of my life, I had a hard time standing in my own integrity because I hadn't accepted myself. I was having a difficult time because I was comparing. I was comparing. My business should have been done doing this because I did this with this coach and I did that with this coach, and I tried so many things and it wasn't working for me, and I thought it was something wrong with me. So I spent a lot of energy comparing, and then the judgment came in, and then the shame came in, the guilt came in, hurrah. So that did nothing for me being me. And when I stood and, you know what, this is who I am, and if you like it, perfect. I want to talk with you. If you don't, it's okay. I can't say I don't care about it, because when people tell me, I don't resonate with what you do, I'm human. but it doesn't, like, I don't get all bent out of shape as to before I would have.
And I'm getting to that point myself, and I think that's the breakthrough point that I need to go through right now. And you just put me in tears, but not tears of sadness, but tears of acceptance and learning to accept myself and not trying to be somewhere that I really am not. And I've done that all my life, and now it's time to move forward. And if you see tears from the laughing lady, it's not that bad.
But I laugh. I cry when I laugh. So it's. But you know what, Carla? Don't go away. We have two amazing gentlemen here that I'm sure they have even more wisdom to share. If you're willing to
I can sit.
Yeah, because I want to hear from both of them.
Place I'm going anyway. I'm supposed to be here. It was very funny how I got here, and I just know that I need to be here.
Perfect.
Right now. So if you don't mind the tears, they may come. I'm fine.
Perfect. So I'm going to go with the top right for me, which is Dave. I'm sure you can echo something about acceptance in this conversation.
Yeah, hi, Nicole. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Hi.
Yeah, great. Yeah, hi, Carla. It looks to me like the laughing revolution is no laughing matter for you.
Absolutely, it isn't a laughing matter.
This is not a good advert. Yeah, I'd sack your publicist if I was you. The thing about not being and just doing stuff, we all do it. It's not unique to you. It's not your fault. It's something that happens with the best intention in the world. It just happens. When we lose sight of ourselves and when we lose contact with ourselves. We were talking about the other day about relationships. Nobody enters a relationship with either another person or a business if they're already in one. And you've got to be in a relationship really with yourself. And you've got to be in touch and in tune with yourself. We're human beings. We're not human doings.
Yeah.
And it's the being you that is going to make the biggest difference. When you be yourself, you find that people attract to you. If you're authentic, if you're real, if you're not trying to be something else, because it's impossible to maintain being something else, because the real you will pop out one day and confuse the hell out of everybody because who's this? You know, being yourself is the first step. Knowing what you want is okay, but you need to know an outcome that you want. So when you decide your outcome, you're not going to get there unless you know where you are right now. You can't start a journey from anything other than a starting point. If you don't know what the starting point is, you don't know what your mindset is, you've got to get everything balanced, which is what a normal coach will tell you. I'm not a normal coach. I'm a completely abnormal coach. So I don't like balance. Because if you look at balance in life, people think that's what you need. But when you look at a balance and it's even and it's equal, there's nothing much happening there. What you need is harmony. We need to get harmony for you. Harmony with yourself, harmony with your business, and harmony with everything around you. Once you've got that, then you've really got something to laugh at. So this really is just a minor hurdle, and they all seem big, they all seem huge, immense, because they're personal. They're deeply personal to us. Nobody else would take it as seriously as you do, because it doesn't affect them. This is yours. And so because you've got that connection with it, you need to be able to control it and take control of it. Once you've got that handle on it, you've got to see it for what it is, not more than it is. Once you understand that you're in complete control, then you can do anything with what you've got, what you want to achieve, what you want to do, all the people you get to attract to you, follow you, join it, it'll all happen. But you have to know, 1, where you are, 2, what you're going to do, and 3, that you're in control. Many years ago, I'm taking too much time, but many years ago,
it's perfectly fine.
When I left college, I put a backpack on and went across Europe. And I told Andy this the other day. We were on a train, and German border guards got on. Now, I don't know if you've had any experience of German border guards. They're not the most friendly people.
Not at all.
And they asked my passport. I looked at my passport, and they looked at me. And then they looked at my passport, and then they looked at me. And then they looked at my passport, and then they looked at me. And I'm like, okay.
Is this going to go on long?
And then he asked me 3 questions. And I didn't know the importance of the 3 questions then. I just answered them. But I realized as I've gone on living in my life, in business, there are 3 most important questions that we can be asked. The 3 most important questions that we can ask ourselves. He asked me, where have you been? Why are you here? Where are you going? And if we can't answer those 3 questions, we're nowhere. We're drifting. It's the Alice in Wonderland. Which way should I go? Where do you want to get to? I don't really mind. Then it doesn't matter what direction you go. So it's all about where we've been, why we're here, where we're going. Once we know that for certain, then we've got progression. And we've got a point that we can aim at. If anybody questions us, even if it's ourselves, we have a history and we've got a firm foundation of where we're leaping from. And that's really what it is. It's a leap of faith. but in your mind, it's a leap of certainty.
Wow.
I love the leap of faith to leap of certainty.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
so true.
I took a leap of faith in 2009 when I retired from teaching in DC public schools. Instead of going on and fighting the grievance, I thought I had had enough. I want to be gone. You'll let me retire. I have my 20 years. Let me out. And I remember the day that I actually signed those papers and felt so free. And before that, I had started doing more of my laughter sessions with people. And people were loving it. And the thing was, I was so happy doing it. It brought, anytime I laugh with someone, I feel such joy. So I know that what I'm doing is what I should be doing. Financially, it's been a journey, but I feel like the journey is the journey that I need to be taking right now. And that I really shouldn't be worrying about it because there's a higher power than you and I that's going to make sure that I get through one way or another. And I need to have that faith and trust to keep on moving. And I think
There's one,
there.
sorry, Carla, there's one distinction I want to make there. I don't want to interrupt you, but there's one distinction I want to make sure that you know. You said what you do, you know it's what you should be doing.
Right.
We all know what we should be doing, but not many of us do it. But so do you not only know that that's what you should be doing, but do you realize that's what you should be doing? That's the difference. Even if when you're doing it and it doesn't appear to be working, do you realize that that's what you should be doing? Do you understand?
Because that's what I've been going through in the past few months.
Yeah.
And anytime I look for just something to bring in a little money, I think, no, I need to be focusing on this. This is what I need to be working on. And I know that without doubt.
But do you realize it? Do you really understand that that's what you should be doing? I know I should work out more, but I don't. We all know that we should be doing something, but do we realize, do we understand the importance of it? Do we realize and understand that's what we should be doing deep down?
I think
But when you've got that, that's right. It's the understanding of what you should be doing and what it brings and benefits others.
yes. I mean, yes. There's no doubt.
Good.
And there's
For
no
that,
doubt
you can
that
do.
when I laugh with someone, I change their life in some way or another. And it's in a positive way.
But do
And
you also understand that when you help someone, two people get better?
yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, I actually had someone laughing on a blab on Saturday night who I thought I would never get to laugh. And this person laughed. And the next morning sent a note to me telling me that I had helped him and he began to understand what I was saying, which he really, and he said, I really needed to hear that. And I really needed to do that.
In that case, I don't think you should question what you're doing. Because what you're doing is changing people.
Oh, it definitely is.
Then you can't stop doing it.
No, I can't.
No. Because
I think it's just that there was a group of people that I want to say was close to, or am in a way who have no idea what I'm doing and they keep putting it down. And I'm not going to go that way again.
Do you know why they're putting it down?
What?
Do you know why they're putting it down?
Because they don't understand the value.
No, it's because they can't do it.
That's absolutely true.
That's their problem, not yours.
I'm thinking of one of the people, and that's absolutely true. That just
why should you care what they think? They're going to say bad things and pull you down anyway, whether you're there or not. Who the hell cares? As long as you're
really don't care. Exactly. I guess I want to help that person, but there's just so much I can do.
Yeah.
Some people
you do realize you can't help somebody that doesn't want your help.
Right.
You know? And until that person is ready to want your help, there's absolutely nothing you can do. And you can literally drain yourself to a point where there's nothing left, and they still won't want to do anything. And
I found that this person is a real drain on me.
Yeah.
And
that's your indication.
And I've been moving further and further away from her because of that. I mean, I'll check in on her, but I can't spend a lot of time with her, because if I do, it drains every bit of energy I have.
Which is what you don't want. I mean, you got to realize I can't get fit for you. I can't eat for you. I can't drink for you.
Right.
I can't earn money for you, or probably could. But the thing is, I can't do things for you. You can't do things for them. Certainly, if they don't want it. You can't motivate somebody if they don't want to be motivated. And last thing, if anybody you want is anybody trying to happy you into happy, it's not going to work. So your best bet is that's where you are. This is where I am. I can't go back there. You either come with me or you stay where you are. Yeah. Harsh, but...
Well, I did that with my sister and brother. I had to move on. My sister kept on saying, "You're spending money wastefully," and I'm like, "How?" You know, she has no idea what I'm doing. And I find...
You know what I asked them, Carla, when they say that? When I asked them, is it your money or is it mine? Who's
define wasting?
You know what's funny about it? It is my money, but she's the executor of the trust, and because I'm not at that point where I can have the money freely, I'm kind of stuck, you know, with her, but not, I just won't deal with it anymore.
How often would you come and see me if every time you did, I hit you over the head with a big piece of wood?
I would stop coming.
Then why don't you stop going to see them?
Yeah.
I'm getting to that point.
Yeah. And did you see John's comment in the stream? Dave, you and John are aligned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's travel path maybe to look at your motivations, yeah. Yeah. But John's a clever guy. You know, my question would be, why do you continue to associate? He's put it a lot more politely than I did. But yeah, maybe I should have read that out.
No, but when you said I needed to hear.
Yeah.
And I needed to hear it in those words, I'm not sure I would have heard it from John.
I think you would.
Right.
He's a very, very clever guy. You know someone you should see?
Wonderful. I love you. Please don't take it personally. I just know that I needed to hear what Dave said.
You know, there's someone you should see daily. It's Nicole.
Nicole?
Because she's got she comes out with all this stuff that you can really, you could take to the bank every day. And so does Andy. I mean, Andy's got plenty to say, I would think, on this.
Are you guys going blab every day?
Can be, if it'll work. I won't bring a lump of wood.
Yeah.
Unless I need it.
That's too funny. Moving my bluntness. I love how
I always had him down as a pretty sharp guy as well.
I think he is too.
He is. Yeah, he is.
But notice he said she invested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For 41 years, you slowly remove. It doesn't say whether it's worked or not.
Well, Carla did say it wasn't blood enough.
Yeah. Yeah. You can see it from his picture. She must have started when she was 5. Yeah. Like I say, the camera had 6 pounds to you, and I think there's about 7 on me.
Yeah. But to speak about like accepting ourselves, I want to give Andy a chance to speak up about that, because Carla, I love that you're bringing this and you're allowing your vulnerability to show up, because that's like just huge. And like, I mean, to me, it touches me so much that you're sharing that vulnerability here on a subject that we are talking about, acceptance, about who we are and where we're at in our lives, and that you're being very, very generous in your sharing of who you are. And I want Andy to share, because Andy's a good friend of mine and we talk regularly. And I'm sure he's got some rich contribution to add as well, because I'm just blessed to have all of you here today. It's such a great conversation.
I feel so blessed to be here, because I think I've been moving towards this conversation for a while, and it just took. I need this today, and there may be more tears, but they're good tears. They're not.
But you know what, Carla? I'm here every Monday at 12:30. The next lab is we're going to be talking about generosity every Monday, 12:30. For now, if it changes, I'll let you know. But if you're willing to hop in, there's a blab every Monday at 12:30 on a Journey to Soulful Connection.
And David, when are you on?
Yeah, I don't do a blab show of my own. I'm going to launch a blab show this week sometime. I was going to do it last week. We have some technical issues with it. But I normally I'll sort of like drop in on shows like Cynthia Bazin's and Sherry Valentine's and Nicole's. I prefer, to drop in, say something outrageous, cause a disturbance and leave. Rather than do, I can't keep it out for an hour. But I sort of carpet bomb blab every now and then.
I must have seen you because I followed you before. Not on this web. So we have met. I'm not sure where, but
in a galaxy a long time ago.
Far away.
Oh, dear.
Or another lifetime, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
And I just recognized you.
Were you sitting at the bottom of the guillotine when I was going up the steps?
Actually, I was.
Yeah, you were knitting as well. You said that, like, him first, I think you said, yeah.
Okay, Andy, it's your turn.
Well, thanks for. I thought I'd sit politely. I love what David said. It's enlightened me as well. I think that's fantastic. What I would say is I love the fact that you're sharing vulnerably as well, because I think when we share vulnerably, that's a place where we have the opportunity to grow, and until we're ready to share vulnerably and connect with who we are, I don't think we're ready to really grow it until we accept that within ourselves. I just thought of a few things while people were talking, and while Dave was talking and Nicole earlier, about like going back to school, and you've got the lost and found area, and throughout life we lose ourselves through tragedy, and we re-find ourselves, and we lose ourselves again through more tragedy, and we find ourselves. But that's a journey of discovering ourselves and the deeper parts of ourselves each and every day, I think. and it is difficult, and it is challenging at times. And it's interesting you talk about money and how that's tied to your value and your worth, your self-worth. I learned a lot about myself and a lot about my personality and who I was over the years. Who I really am deep down at the core. And I realized that this is my vulnerable side, that when I have a lack of money, I have a lack of worth. And it's because deep within myself, I've got these two things tied together. So it's okay to understand that about ourselves, but how can we, once we learn that about ourselves, how can we use that to our advantage rather than making us feel completely unworthy? You know, and I've come to terms with the fact that, you know, when I'm not in a good financial position, you know, it does affect my worth. But through understanding that, it allows me to define who I am a bit more as well. And I thought I'd share that because I think we can get lost so much along our journeys and paths. And I think as long as we stay integral with who we are through each step of our journey, and, you know, we rediscover the deeper parts of ourselves, then I think we will always continue to learn, grow and develop, you know. I talk about the hero's journey a lot, and I know Nicole talks about the soulful journey as well. And I do believe the hero's journey is a lot about uncovering our soul, connecting with our soul. And we have the lighter parts of ourselves and the darker parts of ourselves, the shadow parts of ourselves. And I believe it's always about, you know, understanding that shadow part of ourselves, of how we might not be good enough, or we have these traits within ourselves that we don't value so much. But once we connect with that, we can become completely whole and we can give in the best possible way that we can. But I'm still learning and growing all the time myself, and I always will do. So I've got a long way to go. But I thought I'd share what I've learned within myself. And I've learned a lot of that through astrology, because our chart says a lot about us and who we are as individuals. I'm not an astrologer by any means. I'm just learning the ropes, and I'm learning from some really good astrologers. But I realized, looking at a Leo personality, you can see them as extrovert. I'm a Leo. I'm not an extrovert. I'm very much an introvert. But you look at your ascendant sign and what part of that personality comes out within you, and then you look at other aspects of your chart and really what makes you you as a person and as an individual. Because we've got so many intricate sides to us and our personality. But once we understand ourselves to a deeper level, I think that's when we can be the best we can be as individuals and people, you know, and we can value ourselves much more, because we understand our, you know, it's things that are holding us back, and we understand the things that would enrich us, you know, make us who we are. So, I thought I'd share.
I just feel very safe here in this conversation. And
that's because you're very loved in this conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, in the genuine sense of the word, not the all you need is love and the banners and the posters. In the real genuine sense of the word, you feel that connection because you're loved from 8, 9, 10 different people who all approach things from a different perspective.
thank you.
You're welcome.
I just feel very, very safe, which I think made me be able to talk very, very openly about things that are not so easy to talk about, really. But, you know, I feel very blessed that I found Blab and found the people I found on here, and it's just a blessing.
A lot of us are refugees from Google Plus.
I love it.
You know, I've never really gotten into Google Plus except that I have my Laughter Revolution page there, and I'm still not sure what I'm doing with it there.
So I know I followed Andy on Google Plus for over a year when I had the opportunity. It's where I met Nicole. It's where I met Dave.
Look at what Dave wrote. This is a Google Plus recovery group.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of truth in that.
That's so true. And what I love about this is this capacity to have these rich conversations about what. For me, I remember for Google Plus when I started following on Google Plus, I love these conversations, but you had to sit and type, and the conversation was carrying on, and it was like, oh. And what I love about this is the capacity to bring people together. There's 4 seats here, and if it would be too many seats open, it would be difficult to have a conversation. Here, with 4 seats, people come in, get out, and it carries on a conversation, and depending on which topic, you can choose Blab that you want. But in this one today, that's why, like, you have no idea, Carla, how you touch me with the words that you're sharing, because this is why I created this Blab. And it was exactly for that purpose, to have a conversation where there's an exchange. There's something, and I always say the best teachers are the best learners. They're the best students. You have to be a great student to be a great teacher, and one cannot live without the other one. So, and you're proof. You're a teacher. You come from that background. So you step in here, and you're coming in as a student to learn, and that's what makes you such an amazing teacher, is this capacity to open yourself up, to receive and to listen, and to be the student in this other part of your life that you haven't come across yet. And that's
really interesting about what you said when you called me a great teacher. Part of my big part of my last year teaching was I was teaching in a school where a principal, it didn't matter what I did, but he found something wrong. I could have done the most perfect thing for my students, and he'd find something wrong. I'm turning down. Oh, it's, I'll call her back. I know who it, you know who it is? It's Alicia.
I don't know.
You know Alicia Baza.
No.
I'll call her back. Doesn't matter. Oh, that's really interesting. Anyway, he just put me down. It didn't matter what I did or how I did it. It was wrong. And that made the year so darn difficult for me. But at the same time, I know that I taught a little girl to multiply 3 digits by 2 digits who was afraid of multiplication. I taught a little boy that and these were 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, that maybe he could learn to read if he would only focus, and I got through to all my students. And at the end of the year, like everyone else who was older than him, I got fired. And it was very difficult. I doubted myself as a teacher, but I actually know that I am a teacher and I have something to give. Yeah. And it doesn't really matter what this person has said to me or will say to me.
But you know what? That reflects a lot more about him than it does about you.
Yeah, Carla, you don't have to validate yourself to anybody else. And really, with what you've done, you've given your life to help people, especially kids. That's your validation. That's what you do. Okay, the heck with what anybody else feels about your physical age on this planet or anything else. You don't have to validate yourself.
Right.
And once you, I think once you make that crossover where you realize that, you know, look, I'm giving and I'm just going to use the four of us in here. Without the four of us in here, this world is not the world that it is today. Good, bad, or indifferent. If you remove what we do, okay, everything goes out of balance and out of kilter. You play a valuable role in the existence of the universe, okay? And if people don't like you, that just means they have bad taste. That's what Coach Dave said. Look, I believe three things. The first is you deserve success, okay? The second is you're worth all the effort that you put into creating that success. And the third is you are who you hang around with, okay? If you hang around with people like Nicole and Andy and Coach Dave, you're going to be uplifted, okay? Because there's no room for anything else in there.
And what I do is uplifting, and there's no reason why I shouldn't continue doing it and make it my prime focus. And I think once I realize that, the worries about money are just going to slip away because it'll be there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, Carla, you know, I'm going to tell you something somebody told me about 15 years ago, and they were an investment counselor. And they looked at me and said, John, if money is the only problem you have, you don't have problems. Okay?
Money is the major problem. And I have a sister that told me, it's been rather negative. And I've just decided, no, I am going to continue doing what I'm doing.
But you know what? From personal experience, Carla, I'm coming back from a personal bankruptcy just in 2015. Okay, so believe me, I know all about financial problems. But you know what? Where that stemmed from, I wasn't even able to recognize my own value. So the universe was not going to let me. I've had really great paying jobs. I've had successful businesses. I've done, but money would come in one way and get out the other way. And when I started valuing who I am, I'm not, like, believe me, I'm not eating out in restaurants. But you know what? I'm paying my bills. I have a roof over my head. I have everything that I need. I don't have extra, but when I'm going to have extra, I'll be able to own it in a way that it contributes to who I am. Had I had extra before, I would have been probably, knowing from where I was, that would have probably inflated my ego. That would have been so far from who I am. I would have gone into a different side of myself that had no alignment with who I am today. So believe me, I wish I didn't have to have gone through what I did, but you know what? It made me so much better. And money, like, I mean, I don't eat filet mignon, but I'm lucky. I'm sorry if anybody gets offended, but I live with a hunter. So my fridge is full of fresh food, and it's like, I mean, we eat well. I bake, I cook, I do a lot of that, and I've learned to make do with what I have. And nobody knows. But I don't care that they know. I know where I've gone, and money now is no longer. It used to, like, I mean, I've spent so many nights, Carla, staying up and worrying, and just like trying to figure out what can I do to make this work, and it's like I was getting mad at the world because money wasn't and you know, all those great things that say, you know, if you manifestation and all those great. I've studied with amazing coaches, and I've done their programs. I've done all of that, and nothing was coming through until I understood, you know what? That was not where my life was meant to go. Now, like, I mean, don't get me wrong. If money comes into my life, but I'll be able to manage it in a way that it won't change who I am. And that to me, that's what I needed to learn. That was my lesson to learn about money. So just think about it as you're going through life right now, and your life is telling you, okay, so this part, there's something else deeper beyond the fact that you don't have the physical money in your pocket, but you need to have something to do with your own value, something to do with how your self-worth, which Andy was talking about, and the more you're going to get in touch with that, I think that's going to change, because now,
Right.
you know, it's a dance after that takes place.
And I agree with you. There's a big movement for me to go from lack of self-worth to big self-worth. And I think I'm about to make that leap. And it's been rather exciting for me to realize, hey, you know something? I really am worth what I'm asking people to pay for this. And I'm going to do it. And I have something to give. And, you know, I used to think the laughter thing was a silly thing. Now I feel, no, it's something much bigger and much more important. And I need to do it.
Yeah.
And I am going to do it.
You know,
I think one thing I wanted to mention there as well is, as I said, I love Joseph Campbell. I love the hero's journey. And one of the biggest stages in the hero's journey is the innermost cave. The innermost cave is the darkest part of our lives in some respect, but it's our biggest transformation. So when we're in our biggest hole, that's when we have that biggest transformation, that biggest realization. And we transform who we are as individuals and people, and we start to see that true value and success in who we are. And I think our journey in some ways is finding ourselves and finding our value and finding what we give back to the world. You know, I think that's what our journey in some respects is all about, because those of us who are entrepreneurs, coaches, therapists, spiritual people, let's say, we all go on this journey, and our journey is full of trials and tribulations, full of obstacles, you know, but we choose that path. We choose that path, and it does have good days, it does have bad days, it has those ups and downs, and this is no disrespect to others at all, but other people maybe that are in jobs or in employment, they take the road that doesn't have the challenges and obstacles that you would generally face by having to truly find yourself and understand yourself as an individual as you set yourself on this path of growing, understanding yourself, and really, you know, with your laughter coaching or with whatever you're doing. That is one of the most difficult things that we can ever do, is creating our own path. I mean, the hero is a hero because, you know, you don't see the path ahead of you. You go ahead and you step forward without knowing what is ahead of you at that time, and you create that path, you forge that path, and you meet those people along the way that can help you transform, grow, and develop. And these are people like Nicole, John, other people in the room. You know, our journey is a journey of growth, transformation, and meeting people that can really be those guides, mentors, teachers, can uplift us, can even be that inspiration when we're down, you know. And I personally believe, I did a blog about archetypes last week. You know, there's so many different archetypes in our lives. There's the good ones and there's the bad ones. But every single archetype along our journey is so key and so important. You know, the people that put us down, I think the people that put us down in our life are so important to us, because if they didn't put us down, we wouldn't be in that position to recognize our true value, you know. Because we would be like, oh, I'm fine, you know, I understand myself, I know who I am. And then this person, shapeshifter, in what I would say is the shapeshifter in within the hero's journey, puts you down and makes you realize, who am I? Do I really know myself? You dig deeper down, and you become stronger because of it, you know.
Absolutely.
And those people build you up. So I thought I'd share that because, you know, I love the hero's journey, and I love sharing the parts of it.
But you
Really
know
helps you
what? I'm going to cut in because I'm looking at the time and we are well over time. And so I'm going to allow everybody to do a bit of a closing comment. And then I'll invite you. I completely forgot to reschedule next week's blab, and we can join in on another conversation. And next week we'll be talking the journey to soulful connection. We'll be talking about gratitude.
Wow.
So yeah. So if you're interested, I'll be posting it right after that. I was trying to schedule it, and I that's what you heard the background feed. But I'm gonna let John have a closing comment, and then Carla.
Nicole, thanks for having me. Carla, I don't know if you were listening when Cynthia was in here with Nicole, and I made the comment when I hopped in the first time that it was so gratifying to listen to two people support one another as much as they supported one another and just lifted one another up.
That, I heard you say that. That's what came in.
That's just, that resonated with me so much. The last thing I want to say is this, and if I wasn't significantly older than Nicole, I would tell you that we were probably separated at birth, because I got a chill when she was talking about the stuff she went through from a financial point of view. I think everything happens to us for a reason, to learn. I'm kind of on the other side of that now, but here's what I've done with my extra. Before I'd say, gee, can we go on vacation? Can we do this? Now I'm taking part of my extra and I'm helping other people. That's the lesson I learned. Everybody's lesson is different. So that's my parting shot.
I
do have to go because I have an appointment in 15 minutes. Which means I have to put real clothes on. Okay. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Take care. Your turn, Carla.
My turn.
Yeah.
I didn't come in here expecting this conversation. I'm not sure how I got in here, but I think I'm taking away a lot more than I gave to it. And I feel very grateful to have had the conversation. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Most welcome. You gave a lot. You gave a lot. Your generosity, like I said, it's a huge contribution when you can open that part of yourself up to say, you know what, this is what I need, and I'm being honest, and I'm sharing that, and that makes for such a rich conversation and a conversation about real things. And thank you so much for that.
Thank you for having me.
So I'll be posting that next week's lab. I'll post it right after this. I'll go in and reschedule it.
Should I X myself out now?
Sure, yeah, because I'm just going to let Andy, and then I'll say the
okay.
Okay, thanks, Carla.
So I was just going to say the last passing comment was another one for Carla, and first of all, I'd like to share what you shared as well. Like, it's so good that she was allowed to share her vulnerability, because I believe that is truly the opportunity for growth when you do share that, because there will be people out there that can truly help us to, transform within that place, or get out of that dark place that we're in. And my last passing comment would be a quote, which I don't know who it's by, and I might have said it before, but it's remember that the destination is your journey, or for you to get to your destination, you need to go through your journey.
Always love sharing with Andy. It's such a rich conversation. And in closing, I want to thank all of you. I was coming at today and just kind of opening up and just because acceptance has been such a huge part of my life. And when I finally was able to accept who I am and finally share it, I was rewarded with you guys and was able to share in my journey. And I love Andy's comment about the journey. I've lived my life my way, and bumps on the road, and just learning to accept who I am and where I've been has been a very humbling experience, because I believe that our life is meant to be experienced. And when we learn to accept who we are and where we are in our lives, and we're always exactly where we need to be, as hard as that is to accept at some points, we're always exactly where we need to be. So on that note, I hope you allow yourself to accept who you are and accept where you are in your life. And I wish you an amazing week. And I'll be rescheduling my next week's blab, which will be on gratitude, next Monday, 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'll post the link in like just the minute that we close this blab, and you can subscribe if you wish. And thank you so much for everybody. I love the comments. There was such amazing comments in the stream. And so I look forward to connecting with you again in the coming weeks. Thank you.